Hey, hi, everybody.
Yes,
Welcome in on a Monday. It is September 13th, 2021. Armani and Edwards, this is The Bottom Line here on Woodward Sports Network. Braylon Edwards, my friend. The
yes, sir.
First post
yes, sir.
game weekend that we have here on the broadcast.
It is a heck of a start to a week. Like, legitimately, like, Michigan handled business. Michigan State, they came out, they handled business, and you saw something out of Peyton Thorne. Detroit Lions, they showed you something. This was a good week for football in the state of Michigan. And
we're going to get to that. Got to mention yesterday, we were down at the Tin Roof in downtown Detroit as part of our Lions pregame show that we do in conjunction with our friends at
Rock and Roll
101
Football, baby.
WRIF. It was fantastic. Big crowd, live band, giveaways. We gave away two front row seats. Yeah. We're going to try to give tickets away every week when we go down there, Braylon. But just the sea of people that we had down there yesterday at the Tin Roof was flat out fantastic.
You know, shout out to 101 The Rift. It was so good to work with Jade and 101. Like, I had so much fun. There was so much rock going on, man. The excitement, the fans were there. They've been excited because they haven't been to a game since the Packers in 2019. So the fans were there. The energy was great. We had great sponsors and co-sponsors. Jose Cuervo came and showed some love. I had a great time. I didn't know what to expect. But, man, you're professional. Maz is professional. It was so much fun.
And our setup, I would contend, was better.
It's the best one in the state.
I'm telling you, it was as good a setup as you will have anywhere in anywhere. Okay?
I would agree. I think
Maz is looking at me like I'm crazy. Try not to get too dangerous.
With the exception of having to step on so many different cords or step around, I think it was a really good setup. Like, it looked good. I remember you sent the picture before I got there, and I said, wait, is that us?
Right.
Is that for us? 101 Rip did a really good job, as well as Chad, our guy. Chad always comes through.
Except one guy. We got to get Maz up at the big kids table next time.
Yeah, Maz.
Floating head? My little floating head in the back?
We got to get Maz up at the big kid table next time.
All you can see is, like, Maz's nose. All you can see is Maz's nose.
We'll work on that for next week, Tom, no doubt about it. But I will tell you that it was a big day for the Detroit Lions and their fans. They lose 41-33 to the San Francisco 49ers, and it was just an atrocious start. Yeah. I mean, you look at this thing, and it was 38-10, Braylon, in the third quarter, and a lot of people left the stadium.
Yeah, they did.
A lot of people started to do other things. I will tell you that yesterday I was at home, and at 38-10.
Let's talk about who took you home yesterday after the show.
Maz.
Shout out to Maz, man. Not only is he amazing, he also is an Uber driver, apparently.
He picked me up and took me home, man.
Maz, you're the best. You're the best, buddy.
The only thing he didn't do was I got this we had this little kiddie pool up in the backyard.
Okay.
I took the kiddie pool down, and there's all this dead grass around. So at 38-10 yesterday, I said, you know what? I'm going to go reseed and put some dirt down, some topsoil down. And then I come back in the house, and I see it's 41-33, and the Lions have a chance to get the ball back.
Yeah.
And
you and I were on the phone with each other.
They ultimately did. I was going nuts. So then I had to rewind the game and rewatch it and all that. It's just an incredible thing, and we will talk about this, Braylon, but what Dan Campbell said about fighting to the end and never going to give up.
Holds true.
They did prove that yesterday.
It holds true. He talked about wanting to finish game, wanting to finish situations, always going until it's 0-0-0 and giving the best effort. Like that, he's a big effort guy. Dan Campbell was effort with his players, and you saw that. Like, this could have been a typical loss. There's no Matt Stafford. There's no Calvin Johnson, not to bail you out in these situations, but Jared Goff showed you why he threw for 4,600 yards. He shows you why he was a Super Bowl quarterback. The Lions players, the offense, the defense, they got stops when they needed them. The offense called passes when they needed to. We were talking about who the heck is he going to throw the ball to? Well, he figured it out. So it was just really good to see that finish. I think that's the biggest thing I take away from that game. is watching them finish like that and actually almost tying it.
They had the ball with a chance to go in for a touchdown and ultimately tie with a 2-point conversion. And I don't think there's anything more you can ask for out of a team than just be in every game. And again, we talk about they're a professional organization. They're a professional sports team.
Yeah.
You know,
they get paid.
They get paid just like the other
they
side
were all
gets paid.
conference in college, etc.
I struggle with giving them too much credit and not, kind of talking about them like they're some peewee football team that it's just okay to try hard. I struggle with giving them too much accolades for being in the game and losing still.
Okay, well, let me help you with that.
Please.
I've never been a Detroit Lions fan in terms of like just all-out fan and rah-rah Lions. Just never been. I always was an Oilers fan, Titans. We've talked about that. But you've always seen the same thing out of Detroit. They lose. They're in close games. They lose, etc. What I saw and what I take out of that game yesterday, they didn't just almost win a game against another NFL team. The 49ers actually have a chance to win the NFC West, who Maz says, and I agree, it's the best division in football, and it's the best division in football. They almost won that game. That's not a regular team. They weren't playing some bums. They weren't playing the Houston Texans. They weren't playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were playing a team that has a chance to win that division and go to the playoffs and make some noise. So I don't think it's just like giving them too much credit for an almost win. They played a heck of a game in the fourth against a really good team.
Jared Goff did have a pretty good debut as well. I don't think anybody wants him to throw 57 passes, but he did convert 38 of those 57 for 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, did throw an interception that was returned for a touchdown, which ultimately proved to be the difference in the game. But here was Jared Goff talking about the comeback after the game.
Jared, you just talk about what was the vibe in the huddle like when you guys were making your comeback? Like, what was the vibe amongst the teammates? Like, what were you guys talking about?
It was really good. Again, I think you find out who we are, and it's not a moral victory, and it's not something that we're necessarily proud of, but it is something that is good to know. And it's not going to be the last time that we're down in a game. It's not going to be the last time we have to come back. And on the flip side, we're going to be up in some games where we have to stay the course and know that each play is its own individual play. But it's encouraging to know who we are, but at the same time, we have a lot of stuff to get fixed, and I'm excited to get it fixed starting tomorrow.
Yeah, and that preparation starts today. You look at the game film and you try to correct what went wrong, and there was a lot that went wrong with this team,
especially in that first half.
Exactly, and you're not going to win too many games in the National Football League when you trail in the third quarter by 28 points. It's just not going to happen.
Especially when you don't have a consistent especially when you don't have established, consistent, big-time players to make those plays. Like, he was pulling things out of the air and making plays. Quintus Cephas made some big plays. Hawkins,
you love him.
But you're starting to pay. You're starting to be on the bandwagon.
He might be one of the more dependable guys that you have out there for that unit.
I've been watching him, I'm telling you, since Wisconsin in 2017. I just always liked his game. Very athletic. Uses his hands, which is very rare for wide receivers, in and out of breaks. But he found receivers and people to make plays. DeAndre Swift, he didn't do great in the rushing attack, but look what he did in the passing attack. Look, he had 75 yards out of the backfield. Like, he found a way to get guys involved and to make it happen, and he looked comfortable. Like, it was one of those things, and correct me if I'm wrong, like, I don't want to disrespect Matt Stafford and what he has done or what he did for Detroit Lions. I didn't miss Matt Stafford yesterday. Like, I don't think Matt Stafford wins that game. I think Matt Stafford does about the same, maybe a little bit more, but I didn't miss Matt Stafford, and I don't think the Lions did either.
Quarterback was not the problem yesterday. No. I don't believe quarterback was the problem yesterday, and quarterback hasn't been a major problem for this team.
D-line and secondary.
We're going to talk about that defense, too, and you can't not talk about the defense without mentioning Jeff Okudah. And really the sad part about this is Jeff Okudah is out now for the remainder of the season.
Sorry for that.
With a torn Achilles. And here is the tweet. Tom Pelissero on Twitter says an MRI did confirm that Jeff Okudah suffered a ruptured Achilles. The season is over. He was the number 3 overall pick and was coming off a strong camp. Now, that aside, we never.
He was out there getting cooked.
And Braylon, I don't know if we could say this enough.
Yeah.
Nobody is enjoying or anything like that. I don't even know what the word is. We feel terrible for Jeff Okudah.
100%.
That he got hurt and cannot play.
And it's one of the worst injuries. Like the two injuries I never wanted to have when I played was a patella tendon or an Achilles.
Why?
Because they're hard to come back from, and you never know. And this is even with if you have a great surgeon, put you back together. He does it the right way. Great rehab, great team. You never know if you're going to be able to come back exactly as you were or somewhere in the ballpark. Those two injuries and microfractures. Basketball, it's a big thing, is the microfracture. It's a tough one, man, and I feel for him. But before he got hurt, he was out there getting cooked.
Well, that's just it. And, you know, it's really hard to rag on the guy now because of the season-ending injury.
No, it's not. We could talk about what happened before he got hurt.
And that's what I was going to do, and that's where I was going to go with it. But you can't change what your eyes saw. I mean, Deebo Samuel
my God,
had the best day in the NFL as a receiver in the entire league yesterday.
189.
Actually, Tyreek Hill had 197 yards against the Browns defense.
He's a video game player.
Outside of Hill for Kansas City, Deebo Samuel was the #1 wide receiver in all of the NFL yesterday. And do you know who he was lined up against?
Jeff Okudah.
He was lined up against Jeff Okudah. And when you look at this football team and you look at the problems with the Detroit Lions, we talk about all these other things. Why can't you hit all these misses in the second round? And you got these third-round picks, and you've got these fourth-round picks. You got to hit on the first-round picks.
Yeah.
Your #3 overall player, he needs to be a perennial Pro Bowl player, Braylon.
And you know what I think about that? I think it's one of those situations where Ohio State has had so many good players come out in the draft, go in the first round, go in the second round. So many players that have contributed to teams in the NFL at a high level. It's like watching. It's like a Martin Scorsese movie. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, Martin Scorsese, all his movies are going to be great. And they force you to watch it. You're like, oh, you know what? I want to go see this movie. Leo's in it, and it's a bad movie. Well, that's what happened with Jeff Okudah. They forced Jeff Okudah on us. Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, they told us how good Jeff Okudah was. We need to have him. He's the guy. We took the bait, hook, line, and sinker, and we brought him in. And it's Ohio State, and it didn't pan out. It didn't work out.
It's not hard to figure out why the Lions are in the position that they are, because you had, look, I'm not a general manager. It's not my job to know that Justin Herbert is better than Tua. I'm a guy that called for Tua last year. You could have had Justin Herbert last year with that #3 overall pick. It's your job to know how good Herbert was. And those guys did not do that. And that is why they are gone. Bob Quinn is still killing the Lions. And another point about Okudah that we have to make, and we'll get into some positive notes as well. We'll do that next. This is Armani and Edwards.
It's The Bottom Line on Woodward Sports.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
All right, right back here on The Bottom Line, Woodward Sports Network. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitter, thank you so much. If you're listening on the app, we certainly appreciate it. I don't know, Adam, Alex, can you take the shot of me? Okay, ladies and gentlemen,
look how dark it is
if you're
outside.
Watching, do not adjust your television sets. This is how dark it is outside. It is incredible right now. Yeah, but nonetheless.
No, but that's not 10 straight ahead, though.
Right.
Like it's 2:15. It is dark as I don't know what.
Fish.
Come on, fish.
Come on, fish.
Fish. Fish.
Yeah, quiet, fish.
Fish. Hush.
Go
Hush,
outside. Fish. Take a picture of the darkness. Come on in. Tweet it out, and then we can talk about it.
Don't come back to 3.
I'm telling you, come on, Fish, get with it.
No.
I was talking about Jeff Okudah and how, it's challenging talking about a guy who's injured now. And now you definitely most likely have no idea what he's ever going to be. But I see all of these tweets today from our friends in the business. And look, they were at practice. I cannot say that I was ever at a Lions practice this year where I had the ability to watch Jeff Okudah.
Yeah.
But I've seen more tweets today about what great of a camp Jeff Okudah had. Braylon, I watched the game every time. I don't know what they were watching. Maybe it was because the Lions receivers are so bad.
Right.
I mean, maybe that's why, but every time Jeff Okudah played in the preseason, he was at least getting torched once a game. At least. And then Deebo Samuel yesterday drops 187 on him.
Yeah, Jeff
Not exclusively him, but you get the picture.
Yeah, but he had some plays on him. He made a lot of plays on him as well. Like, you want to see a guy, Jeff Okudah, that we drafted in the third with the third pick overall 3 years ago. You want him to be the guy. Like, he needs to be the guy. He needs to step up. Deebo Samuel, South Carolina guy. I love him as a player, but it's not like we're talking about Mike Evans drop 189 on you, Jeff Okudah. We're not talking about, and the list goes on of great wide receivers that at the top of the game. DeAndre Hopkins, he didn't drop 189. It's Deebo Samuel.
And not only about the 189 yards, but
it was the ease that he did it with.
How about this? I think this is one of the most telling stats as well. Kyle Shanahan, one of the best play callers in the National Football League, you'd say. Kyle Shanahan attacked him 12 times.
Yeah.
Like, he went after Jeff Okudah yesterday. Deebo Samuel had 12 targets.
So you know what happens with that is you can watch film. We watch film all week before games, and offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, they watch the film and they make game plans based on where they see the chinks in the armor or where the weak spots are. And they knew that coming into the game. They attacked Deebo Samuel because they looked at it. They looked at the film. They said, not Deebo Samuel. They attacked Jeff Okudah. They knew he was the weak link. They knew that he wasn't as good as he should be at the number 3 pick overall. They went after, like, that's what you do. You like, hey, you know what? We got one. We got one today.
We're going after this guy.
We got one.
And again, it's really unfortunate that we're probably never going to get a chance to see Jeff Okudah reach his potential at all.
Maybe not, though. I mean,
and who knows about it being done in a Lions uniform. I will say this from my own 2 eyes, and I am not a scout. I am not an expert.
You know some stuff,
I am just a regular guy who watches football.
Don't sell yourself short.
Jeff Okudah has never shown me anything through 2 seasons in the National Football League that proves to me that he can be not only a Pro Bowl, forget about that,
but a legit number 1 in the starter.
A legit starter in the NFL, somebody you can count on back there. I mean, I just don't see it.
And the crazy thing about it is, you aren't wrong, Ryan Armani. And because when you draft someone 3rd overall, and they're
know a little something about being drafted 3rd overall, by the way.
I was 3rd overall. But when you draft someone that high in the draft, and this is year 3, I think this is year 3 for him, correct?
Yeah.
Like what you want,
two.
Year 2. But even still, if you're 3rd pick, you want to see something that, I see it. I get it. Like, you want to see plays. You want to see moments where you're like, I get it. I see number 3 draft pick overall. I see it. It just needs to be consistent. To your point, I haven't seen it.
Right.
Like, we haven't seen it. It's almost like, once again, dang, Detroit, yet again, another draft pick in top 12 picks, and here we are.
It just feels like a waste of a draft pick right now as you're trying to rebuild and try to come up with some sort of playmakers, players that can sustain some sort of a foundation with this program here in the Detroit Lions.
I'll give you an example. I wasn't a big fan of the T.J. Hockenson pick when we drafted T.J. 3 years ago. But when you watch T.J., I see it.
Elite.
I still don't know if I would have drafted him that high.
He's elite.
But I see it. He is elite. Like, he can block. He can catch. He can run routes. Like, he's almost like Travis Kelce, but I also can block. But I see that. Man, with Okudah, you're like,
He's elite. And I'll tell you another thing, as on the positive side of this whole thing. Penei Sewell yesterday, what he did against Nick Bosa was spectacular.
Yeah.
Outside of 1 or 2 plays, maybe, definitely 1, but he had Bosa frustrated all game.
Yeah.
Penei Sewell got to start at left tackle, his natural position. We have seen him on the right side all preseason long. Weren't very impressed with him. Was one of the Lions' lowest graded players in the preseason on the right side. He comes in, fills in for Taylor Decker, who's on IR with a finger injury. And Braylon, this kid looked like a stud, an absolute stud going up against Nick Bosa, one of the best defenders in all of the
100%.
National Football League.
Yeah, it was literally a part two to the Oregon-Ohio State game on Saturday. Like, it was a part two. Oregon dominated. Like, Penei dominated Nick Bosa. He kept him frustrated, kept his hand. He had great hand placement. And we talked about this on Thursday. This might be a good thing that happened with Taylor Decker going out, Penei moving over to left tackle, which is his natural position. Man, that boy looked comfortable. Maz, you still think it was the wrong pick?
I said I don't mind if he becomes an All-Pro and goes in the Hall of Fame. I just wanted the quarterback.
Yeah. What did you think about what he was able to do against Nick Bosa, who's one of the premier pass rushers in the NFL?
Nick Bosa complimented him. He said that's where he belongs. He belongs on the left side. They shouldn't have probably messed around, but they got Taylor Decker. They just paid him a boatload of money, and that's what they do. That's being a Detroit Lion. But like you said, maybe the tides have turned finally. Maybe the Lions might have caught a break that Taylor Decker might have got injured, and that injury helped Penei go to where he's supposed to be.
I like Taylor Decker, but I don't consider him to be an elite left tackle in this league.
He's not. He's a good
Yeah.
left tackle.
Yeah, he's a good left tackle.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if when Taylor Decker comes back off PUP, physically unable to perform, when he comes off that list and he comes back, I would be surprised if Dan Campbell didn't move him to right tackle. I would be surprised.
He's a veteran. Wouldn't it be easier for him?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Than telling a rookie
he's a veteran
that hasn't
in this
played
league
in a year.
And you saw the success that Penei was able to have against a premier rusher. If I'm Dan Campbell, I'm like, hey, look, Taylor, we're paying you. I get it. You got to go to right tackle.
We're paying you a left tackle salary. Would you mind moving over to the right side for us?
But
that's what I was saying. Like if you're Taylor Decker and you're in a free agent year trying to get a contract, hell no, I'm not moving to the right side.
He's already
But you
paid.
already got paid that left tackle money.
Not to mention, he was also the one that we showed the clip last week. Anything that works for us to win, whatever has to happen for us to win, whatever I have to do or someone else has to do. He said that. Yeah. So if you're a man of your word, then move your butt over to right tackle and let's kick some butt.
That's a really great point, Braylon. I'm telling you, I did not consider that, but it's just further proof of what this team is trying to do in terms of changing your culture. What are you willing to do? Leave the I out of it. Leave the me out of it. Where's the we? And that's where it could come into to effect, because I'm telling you guys, I know it's only one game, but there is reason to be excited about Penei Sewell on that left side. It's not like he went up against some bag of donuts there at defensive end. This is one of the top 5 defensive players in the game, I think.
And that's why I want to echo the point that I told you, like,
I don't think that's an overstatement either.
Bosa got home once.
Yeah.
Right? That's it.
Yeah, once. And that's why I'm saying I want to echo that point so you don't feel bad about being too high on the Lions after, one game. The Lions did a good thing yesterday. Like they played to the end. Like, they rushed when they were supposed to rush. They made plays when they were supposed to make plays. Jared Goff was a leader. He took off. Penei Sewell showed you what he could do. He showed you why he was drafted so high. The Lions did a good thing, and I want to capitalize on that momentum. I'm excited and I'm happy for them. But now, what comes next? Like, how do you perform next week on Monday Night Football?
There's no doubt about that, Braylon. And it almost feels like you get a do-over, right? Because every team in the NFC North lost yesterday.
Man.
One of the guys to help them do that, Matthew Stafford. They beat the Bears. We'll talk about Stafford's debut.
Some lost worse than others.
Look around the NFC North. Armani and Edwards.
On the bottom line. Woodward Sports with my boy Maz.
Welcome to the Call Sam Chopper Shop, where you can win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time.
Watch as the Bad Pig Custom Team turns this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
And when it's finished, we'll be donating the bike to Volunteers of America Michigan to raffle off in support of our vets.
A great cause to give back to those who've given so much.
Watch for Call Sam Chopper Shop episodes on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.
Hey, gang, want to start a new career? How about doing so in an industry that is always essential? The heating and cooling industry. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu. We appreciate their sponsorship here on Woodward Sports. As we continue our NFL discussion, looking around the league yesterday, looking around, we'll stay specifically in the NFC North. Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams absolutely took it to the Chicago Bears.
Out, right?
And Stafford, by the way, 20 of 26 for 321 yards and 3 touchdowns, a 156.1 passer rating.
First time ever that he had over 150 yards. Hey,
I don't even can I honestly tell everybody I don't understand anything about passer ratings. I know the higher it is, the better it is. I don't know how it's equated. I don't know what goes into it. I would, and I do understand how many completions versus how many attempts, how many yards, and how many touchdowns and interceptions. Yeah, but the passer rating is a meaningless number to me.
Yeah, the way they break it all down, it's kind of like if you look at the touchdowns. So he had 20 attempts. He had 20 completions. He had 3 touchdowns. So they break that percentage down. How many attempts does it take him to throw?
Who is they, Braylon?
The statisticians in the NFL. Same people that you go on NFL.com and they break all that stuff down. Who's the number ranked defense, offense, etc. But they break down how many throws does it take for him to throw a touchdown. Like his incompletions, it's 6 versus 20, or it's 20 out of 26. Only 6 incompletions, no interceptions. Like all those numbers kind of go into it.
Should have been 4 TDs.
Yeah, it should have been.
He looked like a different quarterback a little bit, didn't he? I mean, maybe that's just the Lions.
ESPN gassed him up.
It's the uniform.
Yeah,
it might be.
It's the West Coast air. It's the Pacific Ocean.
He's Hollywood now.
He's Hollywood. I just think one, it's easier out there. One, you have an offense that it's consistent. Like you know what you can do with the ball. Like you know where you can place it. You have 5 or 6, 7 wide receivers, and you got running backs that they'll figure that part out. Then on defense, if I'm sitting down, you got Aaron Donald. Right. You got Jalen Ramsey. Like it's just comfortable, and you're off the ocean. The air is breathing life into him. I think it's just easier.
It just, again, he just looked like a different player yesterday.
Do you see Sean McVay? He's glowing. He's like a kid that just got an allowance and is able to go to the candy store and spend every single penny he wanted. They are meant for each other.
He too had a different pep in his step. Kelly Stafford had a different pep in her step last night when they finally showed actually who she was. The NBC broadcast had some split screen of some other woman saying it was Matthew Stafford's wife.
I hate that crew.
Oh man! Yeah. But so the Bears lose. The Minnesota Vikings lose to Cincinnati yesterday. I really like Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is. Look, you want to talk about the NFL being a quarterback league? Give me that guy every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I love Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow was playing good. If you remember, Joe Burrow actually was playing good last year before he tore his ACL and PCL and meniscus. He did the whole deal. He was playing well last year. He came in ready. He was flying high off the national championship win, and he was continuing in the NFL, but he just happened to tear his ACL. I'm telling you, I agree with you. Joe Burrow is a player, and you're seeing it.
No doubt, and not only that. So they play Chicago next week. Ooh. I mean, Cincinnati could get out to a 2-0 start. Ooh. Andy Dalton, no good. I mean, Andy Dalton is not a good quarterback. And now I know that that LA has a really good defense. They made Andy Dalton look really bad last night, and they're going to make a lot of people look bad. But Chicago not very good.
I don't think it's hard to make Andy Dalton look bad. Like he does that pretty well on his own. I just don't understand how you see what Andy Dalton did last year. He had a chance when Dak Prescott went down with the Dallas Cowboys. He had a chance to come in there and really make some waves. He had a chance to do something and show you something different than the inconsistencies in Cincinnati. And he didn't do that. And they knew that when they picked him up in Chicago with Nagy. They picked him up. They bring him in. They know what he did last year. They know about the inconsistencies in Cincinnati. And they still name him the starter over someone that you drafted in the first round. I just don't understand it.
And if I may, Let me clear my throat.
Clear it. Are you about to talk about somebody?
Let me take a deep breath here. Let me take a deep breath. In perhaps the best game of the day yesterday in the National Football Conference. Oh, Jameis. Oh, Jameis, baby. Lather up. Lather up, Jameis Winston.
Ryan,
not one, not two, not three, not four. 5 touchdowns for Jameis Winston. Woo! Jameis.
Hold on.
MVP.
Hold on. Oh, my God. Alex, I hate you. Oh, my God.
Eat it. How's it taste?
Alex, I hate you for, like, inspiring this foolishness by Ryan.
Oh, not in.
Listen.
Not only did they eat it.
Listen. They played a heck of a game. Defense played amazing. They played lights out. And they whooped. And
38-3.
And you could see all that holding out, not being there, waiting to come late to camp. You could see the inconsistencies in offense, and they weren't on the same page. With that being said, he almost had more touchdowns than he had passing yards. Don't lose sight of that. Those five touchdowns.
No.
Don't lose sight of that. He only had 144 yards. Am I correct? Don't lose sight of that.
Those are intramural numbers.
That's exactly what I said. 144 and 5 touchdowns. Like, that's the type of stuff people do in intramural games.
Braylon, he did what he had to do.
144 and 5 touchdowns. Like that'll never happen again.
Lather up. 14 of 20, 148 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
Hey, what's on the?
That's the worst stat line I've ever heard in my life.
What's on the dinner table tonight for the Armanis? You making crab legs?
Making the W, making the W with the side of the crab legs. Why you gotta mess with Jameis that way?
Sorry.
What did he do to you?
You know what?
He only had 148 yards. That's what he did.
5 touchdowns, baby.
Five is five.
How about his post-game interview? That was pretty good.
Yeah. Can we do we have a cut of that? Thank
think
you.
we do.
Yes,
Hey.
please.
Let's throw it up there.
Let's check this out.
How did the defense in the running game give overall shape to the way this played out, Jameis?
Well, I just think we were prepared. You know, one thing my trainer, he told me, he said, what did he say? He just told us to be prepared.
He say
He's the gift that keeps on giving.
Jameis is he's a walking soundbite.
Not only but a walking viral sound.
Oh my God. He said, like my trainer always says, hold on. What did he say? What? My God. Come on, Jameis.
Can we?
Play it again.
Let's watch it again.
Rock him,
If
Alex.
you throw for 5
in the
touchdowns.
running game give overall shape to the way this played out, Jameis?
Well, I just think we were prepared. You know, one thing my trainer, he told me, he said, what did he say? He just told us to be prepared.
I mean,
He started off right. He started off on a good foot. He said, we just came prepared, and then it went downhill after that.
I don't remember the scenario of how he got to the New Orleans Saints. I just don't remember it. I don't know what the trade was. I probably should have thought about this before the show, but as I'm watching this organically now, it's one thing that comes to mind.
He was a free agent.
Another reason that it kills you.
He was a free agent. National championship 14, then they lost 15. You might be right. Yeah. I think Maz is right.
I don't understand again how you couldn't see this guy out in the open market and sign him to be Stafford's backup last year, or if you're not gonna draft a quarterback, go get Jameis Winston, who nobody really wanted last year.
Agreed.
And I'm not saying that one game is gonna make him the MVP, although I think he's gonna be the MVP.
Not with 148 yards, never.
No, but I'm joking a little bit. But this is a guy that can give you something.
Yeah, and we talk about it often. It's about being in the right system, the right people around you that can mold a game around you, mold a system around you. He had good players in Tampa. He had Godwin. He had O.J. Howard. He had Mike Evans. He had some players, but sometimes the system doesn't work. And then maybe there's some head bumping with him and Bruce Arians. Maybe it's just whatever it was, it didn't work with good players. Now he's in another system. Sean Payton gets it. Sean's like, hey, I know who this guy is. I'm going to mold the offense around him. I'm going to make him comfortable. I'm going to make it easy for him. I'm going to allow him to throw for 5 touchdowns if he's ready. So it didn't work in Tampa. Seems to, even though it was only 148, seems to be working in New Orleans.
Hey, he learned from the main man himself, Drew Brees. He spent a year with Drew Brees. That's got to rub off on you.
Yeah, I agree.
At worst, he's going to get a better hairdo because look at Drew Brees' hair now.
Well,
Drew Brees has hair now.
Those all-time great leaders, right? I mean, Drew Brees is one of those guys that I think you consider as a great leader. And
Purdue, Big Ten. Somebody
that really has done it in the NFL year in, year out. And I think it is good sometimes to have a quarterback like Jameis Winston or a player of that stature just kind of come take a breather and sit back and watch one of the best to ever play do it. And he got that benefit last year by kind of sitting behind Drew Brees, and he came out and earned that chance this year, earned the job this year, and performed yesterday.
And not only that, though, also keep in mind what Drew Brees had to endure his whole career. Every year, like, he was consistently trying to prove himself. Like when he was in San Diego, he had to prove himself that he deserved to be there. With the Saints, he had to prove himself, get a Super Bowl ring. 5,000 yards passing, that's not enough. 5,000 again, that's not enough. So he learned under that, and that's an amazing story that he can watch and learn under Drew and that. Also, it's like that movie, Any Given Sunday. Remember when Jamie Foxx is the quarterback, he's Willie Beeman, and then remember when Cap Rooney goes down, Willie Beeman comes in and he takes his place. But then at the end of the season, Cap Rooney comes back and he plays in the first half of the playoff game. And what does Willie Beeman say? He said, man, in that first half of football, I learned more from Cap in that first half than I've ever learned in my life. And I think that's what you saw from Jameis last year with Drew.
I want to look around the rest of the NFL when we come back, Braylon, but I do want to ask you as well, did we learn anything about the Green Bay Packers yesterday? Because, man, I don't know if that's going to be the exception.
That's my Super Bowl pick.
Or the rule in 2021 for Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. We'll talk
3-38.
Ermani and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand.
Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Papa Romano's Pizza. Go Greek. Papa Romano's for a limited time only. Papa Romano's is introducing their new Greek pizza, which I have had. I finally have had one. I keep talking about it. I finally got one. I finally got one 2 days ago, and it was freaking amazing, by the way. Introducing their new Greek pizza. It's a classic blend of bold Greek flavors, and I vouch for it. Tasty Mediterranean toppings with tomatoes, olives, onions, feta cheese, which is my favorite, feta cheese, and more. Get a large Greek pizza for only $16.99. PapaRomanos.com.
All right, gang, so we talked about the New Orleans Saints and Jameis and had some fun with that. On the other side of that butt whipping yesterday was the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers, 15 of 28. $133. When's the last time Aaron Rodgers threw for just 133 yards in 28 attempts?
2 picks. 2
interceptions, 0 touchdowns. Obviously, they only put up 3 points offensively, did the Green Bay Packers. I don't know. I reserve the right to change my opinion on Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, but I guess we're going to learn next week in Monday Night Football with the Lions and the Packers, but I think this may be what the Green Bay Packers are in 2021. I think there may be so much turmoil and so much damage that has been done off the field in the last 2 off seasons that this is just what they are. And maybe Aaron Rodgers doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah, they didn't look good. 38-3. Doesn't matter who you are. 38-3 is cause for concern. They're injured. He lost his guard before the first game, the opening game. Him not being there during OTAs early on in training camp, being there for the whole year. Am I retiring? Am I not retiring? Just like the back and forth, the continuous distraction. Then he held him hostage to get Randall Cobb back. Randall Cobb, he had one catch for 32 yards, but it just didn't look good. It looked like a team that, all the chinks in the armor and everything that we've talked about from the end of the season last year, the Jeopardy, the little shots that he was taking on Jeopardy about Matt LaFleur's, you saw that. You saw it on full display. They're in trouble. They look bad. Ryan, they look bad.
Yeah, they did not look good. And Maz, it's one of those things where Aaron Rodgers is your Super Bowl pick. The Green Bay Packers, your Super Bowl pick. I think there's some concern there.
I don't know. I'm going to throw this game out. As a horse race guy, sometimes when the best horse has a bad race, you throw that race out. He didn't like the track. He didn't like the field. They were at Jacksonville. Yep. They were put out. I don't know. I'm throwing this game out. I think, unfortunately, the next team they play is going to get destroyed. Who is that team?
The Detroit Lions.
It's the Detroit Lions.
And again, that is the Monday night game that we'll talk about ad nauseum over the next week. But, one of the things with Aaron Rodgers, too, and I'm always hesitant to say stuff like this because I just don't know what's inside him, but he looks to me like a guy that's done playing football. In not talent, mentally.
That's everything.
That is 90% of it almost, right? I mean, he's out there, he's doing his thing with his actress girlfriend, and that's great. He's trying out for Jeopardy, trying out all these other jobs out there, everything but working on what he needs to do to take the Packers to a Super Bowl. He is 38. I mean, at some point.
Yeah, I'm 38 too. I'm young.
You don't fall off the cliff.
Everybody falls off the cliff except for Tom Brady. Peyton Manning fell off the cliff. Drew Brees fell off the cliff.
No, Drew Brees broke all his ribs. That's what. But
he fell off the cliff.
True. Technically, you're right. But I disagree with Maz though. It is Aaron Rodgers, and we know what he's synonymous for. We remember RELAX. We remember relax. Yes. We know what he can do. We know how good he is, and I understand that. So you have to preface it with that. But with that being said, they couldn't get first downs. They couldn't move the chains. They couldn't get the receivers the ball. The running backs couldn't get yardage. The line was Aaron was running around. Aaron, all of last year he threw 7 interceptions. He threw 2 yesterday. That's not what Aaron does. I'm telling you, they look discombobulated. They look bad.
So you think the Lions can beat them on Monday is what you're telling me?
What I saw the Lions against the 49ers in the fourth quarter and how they came back and what they did, and based off what I saw for 4 quarters of the Green Bay Packers, yes.
But again, if you're the Detroit Lions, one of your problems in your history, and it was again yesterday.
Can't beat the Packers.
Well, you can't beat the Packers, but you can't get to the quarterback. If you don't get to the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers is going to pick you apart. But I don't know if you want to make any determination on how good or bad the Packers can be with a win over the Lions at home on Monday night. I don't know if you sit there and you say, oh, Aaron Rodgers is back if they win, 31-14 against the Lions on a Monday Night Football game.
I think it just depends on how that win happens. If they score 31-14 or 21-10 or 21-20, it just depends on how that looks. How many touchdowns did he throw? What were the percentage, the completion percentage? How did it look? Did it look like Devontae Adams and him were back in rhythm? Did it look like he and LaFleur were on the same page with calling the play? If it looks like that, then it doesn't matter that they beat the Lions. They're on their page again. But if you don't see that, then it still calls for concern.
At the very least, Maz, I do think it's worth looking at trends here in the first month of the season. Are Aaron Rodgers and the Packers going to be a team that competes with Tom Brady and the Bucs as a team that's going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl? Through 1 week, it does not look like that at all.
No, it does not. And, I watched a lot of the games yesterday, especially the early games. And I seen some pretty bad teams out there, and one of them, I think, who could be the worst team in the league, worse than the Lions? The Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, man.
They could not. They're at home. They could not do a thing. Matt Ryan was laying on the ground the entire game. The Eagles were just laughing at them. Jalen Hurts looked like what Trevor Lawrence was supposed to look like.
They are stinky. You know what the Falcons remind me of? Remember what you always say about Jim Harbaugh And after the punt in 2015,
Yep.
you always say
After the Super Bowl.
You always say Michigan and Harbaugh were never the same after that moment. Same thing with Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons.
That's a great point.
28-3.
Yeah.
They have never recovered.
That's
unbelievable. I saw their owner, Arthur Blank.
He just went to the Hall of Fame, I think.
This is a guy that if you look at him on the sidelines, he was like, I can't believe what I'm watching. This is my team.
He's like, what am I paying for?
Exactly.
32-6, the Eagles beat the Falcons.
On the road.
Jalen Hurts,
They scored
3
more than the
touchdowns.
Packers.
Just another look around the NFL. Sam Darnold and the Carolina Panthers beat up on Robert Saleh and Zach Wilson and the New York Football
Close
Jets.
game.
Revenge
19-14. What's his name? Wilson. I mean, Wilson is dropping dimes out there.
He's going to be terrific.
And they can't hold on to the football.
He's going to be terrific.
Smooth.
The Jets they had a chance at a 2-point conversion at the end of that game to get within a field goal, and they missed the onside kick to boot. They were in that game to the end. They fought hard for Saleh.
How about the Steelers beating the Bills on the road 23-16, Braylon? That was a really impressive effort. Miles Killebrew, former Lion, of course, with the blocked punt, which leads to a scoop and score for the Steelers. Get these guys out of Lions uniforms, and they just perform.
When you put your lab coat on last Thursday, and you talked about quarterbacks that could win the title and everything this year, they could win it all. Who was the one guy Maz was leery on? Who was he leery on that was in the top tier?
Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers. They looked really good yesterday.
Their offense don't look good, though.
They'll figure it out. Don't forget they won 11-0 last year.
One of the most surprising
game 12.
games in the afternoon to me, the Arizona Cardinals completely destroying the Tennessee Titans.
On the road.
I could not believe it.
I told you it was going to be a good game. I just didn't think that was going to be the outcome.
Braylon has said when we did that last week,
Tennessee and the Cardinals.
No, but when we were crossing off teams last week in terms of who can win the Super Bowl, Braylon said, nope, cross off Tennessee. Cross them off.
Got it right.
Right.
100%.
Cross them off.
Yeah, because what happens in the playoff, and Maz actually agreed on that too, they lean way too much on Derrick Henry. Like they just forget that they have A.J. Brown. They forget about the past game.
Julio Jones, though.
I'm talking about like what they've done in the past. Like they just completely forget about the passing game. It's like, hey, like Derrick, all right, we appreciate you. Like get us 250 yards, and he can't do that.
Two quick ones. One which doesn't we don't need any conversation about, but Chargers beat football team. I'm very particular to football team 20-16. Ryan Fitzpatrick out now.
Yeah, Trey Heineke is the new quarterback.
Heineke.
Have a Heineke.
Heimlich.
He almost beat the Bucs last year in the playoffs.
He played in the playoffs. He started that game in the playoffs.
Anybody want to talk about that Alabama versus Alabama game?
Well, that is one I did not have on here, but absolutely the Miami Dolphins beat the New England Patriots yesterday. Tua outplays Mac Jones. Mac Jones, though, was very good.
17-16, a 1-point game.
Yeah, very good Mac Jones was yesterday. But
Mac had the better game, but Tua got the win.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I'll always take the quarterback that wins, though. And how about this? Trevor Lawrence, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. The Houston freaking Texans, who many people believe are going to have the worst record in the National Football League this year, 37-21 over Jacksonville. That game wasn't even as close as the score indicated.
Me and Maz have completely been riding the Houston Texans franchise. Like, since we've been on the air, since we first got on the air.
I like Tyrod Taylor,
As soon as we first got on the air, we were like, what?
3 touchdowns.
We were like, they suck. Like, top to bottom, they're just organized, et cetera, et cetera. Man, they got to win.
Tyrod Taylor is one of the, and I'm trying to put, like, he's a starting quarterback in this league that no team wants to build a future around. Like, you know what I'm saying?
He has it, but it's something about that last thing. Like, owners and coaches, they're like,
he's one of those guys that's going to play for 16 teams in the NFL, and he's going to win games for 16 teams in the NFL, and nobody wants to build around him. I really like Tyrod Taylor.
He'll be like a Charlie Batch.
Yeah.
He'll be like a Charlie Batch.
Last year, because the Chargers and the Rams were on Hard Knocks, I got to know Tyrod Taylor. He's a great leader, that guy.
He is.
The teams love him. The players love him. He just needs a chance. Here's his chance.
Well, yeah, I mean, here it is until Spencer Rattler comes along next year and kicks him out after a year again. Poor guy.
He can't catch a break.
Speaking of poor guy, I've got one for you coming up next. It is part of my man chill out. Poor guy. He didn't do nothing wrong right now. Why is he getting called out? We'll do it next. Man chill out. Armani and Edwards.
On the bottom line.
You know why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 5-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff. Football 5 days a week. Perhaps we like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's haircuts for men. I just got mine, actually. I don't know. Nobody has commented
Looking
so
good,
far
man. Looking
on
good.
my beautiful do.
I'm
yet
jealous.
Today.
I'm jealous. That's
Oh
what it
man,
is.
shout out to my girl Allie over there. She took care of me this afternoon. All I did was walked in, signed in, sat down, and before you know it, you are handsome and clean. I am both of those things. Get to Lady Jane's, open and handsome mess. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. No days off around here. Walk in anytime. It is wicked awesome. One of my favorite parts of the show, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time we like to call Man Chill Out.
Do you think it's funny? Chill, Daddy. Pack your bags, get the hell off. Now, do you understand what you did?
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
If you guys don't mind, I'd like to start today.
Oh, man.
So, I was watching a college football game over the weekend. It was the Michigan-Washington game, which we will talk Michigan football coming up at the top of the hour.
All right.
And I couldn't help my eyes. I'm thinking to myself, the man has 15 major championship wins. The man has won worldwide 106 tournaments in his career. There are iconic images after iconic images. All you got to do is put his name into Google, look at images, and man, oh man, you will see some of the greatest images in sports. Well, the University of Washington, I'm watching the game, their coaching staff flashes this defensive signal if you're watching. They have a defensive signal with Tiger Woods' mugshot. Whatever 12T, whatever play 12T is for the defense, they use Tiger Woods' mugshot as the way to call that in.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, after all of these great things that Tiger Woods has done for sports in general, this is how you do the greatest golfer to ever live. That is how you represent the greatest golfer to ever live. I think that is absolutely uncalled for. I think it is terribly wrong. On national television, too, the ABC Saturday night game, you're going to do Tiger like that? What? Why? What's the point? Can't you, like, look at him when he's like, you know, something when he's pointing down, or he's like,
or he's doing the Tiger fist pump?
Something?
Yeah.
You got to do him like that. So, to the Washington Husky coaching staff,
get him, Ryan.
I say to you, man, chill out.
Yeah, that's you know what's funny is I think they always try to find like something trending, something when they do the pictures, etc. And you know, it's always sometimes it's something funny. You know, sometimes it's something, you know, like Thanos from a Marvel movie. Like sometimes it's whatever, but come on, don't do Tiger
Come
like
on,
that,
man. Don't do Tiger like it. Can you
Don't do
imagine?
Tiger like
Can you imagine?
And he's a Nike. Well, he's a Nike guy. Well,
Right.
he used to be a Nike guy.
Well, can you imagine Tiger Woods watching a little college football with his son on Saturday night?
Yeah.
Son, Let's watch some college football. Oh, who's on tonight, Dad? Well, there's this Michigan-Washington game, and it's a maze out. It's great. You know, come on, son, cozy up on the couch next to me. What's that defensive play called, Dad?
OUI.
I mean, come on, man.
But at the same time, you know what Tiger is also thinking and said, I got $1 billion. I ain't worried about it. I got $1 billion. I ain't worried about it.
Perhaps.
Maz, you going? Am I going?
Whatever you want. You're the boss.
I'll go. I'll get out the way,
Okay.
man. We'll save the best for last.
Thank you.
For me, my segment or the topic that I chose is Michigan is playing well. Defense, they're finishing tackles. Aiden Hutchinson is a monster. He's getting to the quarterback. The running game in Michigan is amazing right now. It's our bread and butter. We've gotten back to rushing the football, to running the football, to getting yards, to having big rushes. We're doing good on all fronts, with the exception of passing the ball. Like, I'm looking at Michigan State. Michigan State last week, they had a big rushing game. They had a big rushing game in week 1, and they come back in week 2. Peyton Thorne, and I know it's against Youngstown State, but it doesn't matter. Peyton Thorne has 15 of 21, 280, 4 touchdowns. Jordan Simmons has 121, and Kenny Walker has 57. Michigan has big yards again in the rushing game. Corum, heck of a game. Hassan Haskins, heck of a game. But K. McNamara and the passing game was abysmal. I want to say it was 7 of 15 for 44 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. I don't need him to light the scoreboard up. I don't need that to happen right now. But what they have to do now in these early games, and especially like Washington was a good job to start that, you got to be able to pass the ball. You got to develop a run-pass attack. You have to be able to do both to win the east side of the Big Ten, to get to Indianapolis to play in the Big Ten if that's your goal. So I say to University of Michigan, Cade McNamara, Jim Harbaugh, and Josh Gaddis, man, chill out. I'm telling you guys are going to have to put the ball in the air. And I know that Ronnie Bell went down. And I know it was a tough loss for the team, especially the offense. But you guys are going to have to find a way. Hey, that's what happens in football and sport. Next man up.
We're going to dive into some Michigan football, Michigan State, and everything college-related coming up to the top of the hour here a couple of minutes from now. Maz?
I got something. I got an issue.
Okay.
As usual. I hate the new single-digit numbers.
It's a good one.
In the NFL. I don't want to see Leonard Fournette as number 7. This ain't college. This ain't Saturday. This is Sunday. You're a professional. Act like a professional. Get back your old numbers the way it should be. I know Tom Brady is even on my side, and Alex will put up a Tom Brady tweet. Now, he started months ago when this rule came through. He's still pissed off about it. You got Jalen Ramsey switching from 20 to 5. Patrick Peterson, 21. Now he's 7. Budda Baker is number 3. Darius Slay is number 2. Jordan Fuller from the Rams is number 4. You can go on, man. Cam Akers is number 3. We're not going to see him right now. Deshaun Jackson is number 1. He ain't Braylon Edwards. You don't have number 1. Quandre Diggs, one of my favorites.
I appreciate you.
He's number 6. I was like, who the hell's number 6? I look, it says Diggs. That was my guy. That was one of the guys that the Idiot Brothers gave away. Travis Etienne is number 1. It just goes on and on.
Man, he was
I'm confused, man. I see guys on defense wearing single digits. Where the hell am I?
Yeah.
Hey, NFL, give me back my old rule, please, and number these guys the way they're supposed
you want
to
to
be
see some
known.
80s and some 84s?
NFL, man, chill out.
No, look, you bring up a really good point because once you, it's
I'm
never
on the other
going.
side.
It's never going back the way that it was. Once you give people something, it's nearly impossible to take it away from them. And they have given these numbers now as single digits. I was confused over the weekend watching, the Thursday night game when Tampa played and seeing Leonard Fournette wear 7, seeing Jalen Ramsey wear number 5 yesterday. I too thought it was an awesome rule to let these guys wear whatever number they wanted until I saw it yesterday. I don't like it either.
I disagree. At the end of the day, I wore 1 in Michigan. I would have loved to wear 1 in the NFL. 1 is who I am. Like that's not gonna change. Like I created the persona of number one. Like it's easy for Tom Brady to say that when he can choose the number that he was in college. Like he didn't choose 10, but he had the choice to choose 10. Like if you can choose what you were in college and you have the option, like that's one thing.
Right,
like,
he didn't have to go. He didn't have to pick a number. He didn't have to pick a number in the 30s.
It doesn't matter. Like Leonard Fournette almost won the Heisman in the first 6. At what number? 7 at LSU. I broke all the records in Michigan. What number? 1. Well, 82, but 1. Like that's who I am. If they would have offered that option, I definitely would have jumped on it.
No, I mean I understand that as somebody who like watches though, just a casual watcher of the game. I mean, I was a little confused that you know these guys. I had to try to figure out. Now it only took me a minute, but who's this number 5 for the LA Rams? You know, because I'm used to seeing Jalen Ramsey wear number 20.
Yeah, but it's only going to be like week 1 or week 2, and then you'll be locked in for life.
It was 2 plays. It took
now the
me.
Lions like 87. That's Quintez Cephas. I'm like, who's that 87? He looks like a receiver.
Guy.
Then you see Terrell Williams at number 6 get his bell rung. I'm like, who was that number 6?
I don't know who anybody is.
I don't know. Give me my numbers back. Especially if you're a guy in the booth and you're calling the game. Let's say you're the PA announcer. You lock these things in. You know, in the 30s, that's a D-back.
Right.
In the teens, that's a quarterback. In the 80s, that's a receiver.
But it's going to be the same thing. Like, you guys are just talking about it right now. It's only been week 1. Like, wait till week 2, 3, 4. Like,
sure.
You're legitimately going to be like, oh, if I see a lower, like a single digit, if it's offense, I know it's a running back or wide receiver.
It quickly.
If it's exactly. My thing is this.
I just want to win.
Like, my thing is this. Like, out with the old, in with the new. Like, change the game. It's ever changing. I love the
I have
single
such
digits.
a difficult time with change, though.
Hey, next year I'm going to be
You won't even be able to. You won't even remember this moment in 4 weeks.
Listen, next year they get to wear different helmets. I'm looking forward to the NFL allowing
Who can wear different helmets?
What do you mean?
They're allowing next year you could wear. The Lions could have their old throwback helmet next year. The Patriots could bring back Pat the Patriot. Bucko Bruce is going to come back for the Buccaneers. They could wear them at different games.
I thought you were saying like players, like different players, like in the same game.
Can
like,
wear
what type
whatever
of
they want.
foolishness is this?
Crazy.
Just
hey,
throwback.
let's dive into this Michigan game, shall we? 30-second break. Come right back. Michigan, they beat Washington
handily.
And the reaction, though, a little tepid, if you will, afterwards. We'll tell you why. Armani and Edwards.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Hey, gang, it's Maz from MyBookie.ag. I hope you guys all made some money this weekend on the NFL. You got one more night tonight, Monday Night Football, the Ravens and the Raiders from Las Vegas. You got to get that 4 points and run with the Raiders. You can run right to MyBookie.ag and put that bet in. Don't forget, use that promo code Woodward. They will match your first deposit every dollar for dollar, up to $1,000. Put 100 in, they'll give you 100. Put 50 in, they'll give you 50. Just got to use that promo code Woodward. Great NFL action. Of course, college football, which we're going to talk about next. Michigan knocking off Washington. Michigan State dominating at home against Youngstown State. Hopefully you got those. You could bet them even. You could bet the parlays. You could bet future bets as well. How about that baseball coming down the stretch? Bet that as well. Go to, of course, mybookie.ag. Use that promo code Woodward for all that free money, up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Don't forget, if you have a gambling problem, call the National Problem Gambling Helpline, 800-522-4700.
Hour number 2 of the program. By the way, Maz, good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, man. I'm back.
You were never away.
I was just omnipresent, as the guys on YouTube called me.
You look more comfortable today. I love it. You look back in your element.
Thanks, I love it.
So our
Better
number
than the floating head yesterday at our pregame show.
Yeah.
It's like, where's Maz at?
Our number one, we went heavy Lions, heavy NFL. I do want to get into some of the Michigan Wolverines talk, guys. It was the game was not even close. 31-10 was the final over Washington.
I was in the building.
Yes, you were in that building.
Got honored.
Start with this. The crowd was flat out amazing.
So we saw Terry Foster yesterday when we were downtown at Tin Roof with One-on-One Riff, and Terry came up to me, and Terry, he's always pulling punches. He's always poking. He has something to say. He said, "I have to tell you that Michigan crowd was rocking. That Michigan crowd, you heard the noise, you heard the passion, you heard the level, and Terry doesn't give out compliments, and he doesn't, tell you you're right." So I was there, man. It just was amazing. Like, it was electric. Like, it was back to when Michigan was, in the running for the Big Ten championship.
Amazing.
Like,
I like that.
There you go. Play on words, though. It was amazing out. We had a great time, and they played the level of football that we wanted them to play. Like I told you, don't take for granted what Washington did against Montana. Yeah. And they came out and they didn't take it for granted, and they played a good game.
Blake Corum, one of the stars of the game, obviously, and this kid is just really lighting it up. He did it again on the ground. Won over 170 yards rushing for this kid, and Hassan Haskins had 155 yards rushing. This duo on the ground is really something that the Wolverines can move forward on and build on. Some of the offensive numbers here, they are in week 1, 43 carries, 335 yards, 3 touchdowns. And against Washington, 56 carries, 343 yards, and 4 touchdowns. The offensive line and the running backs really doing their job through 2 weeks. That's the good.
They're playing that old school Bo Schembechler football. They're playing old school Bo Schembechler football, 3 yards in the cloud. That's the only difference is these kids are talented. These kids are athletic. These kids are fast. Hassan Haskins and Blake Corum, like, they played well, and it's good to see. I think that if you have two running backs that can operate like that can give you 150 yards as well as 171 yards, it makes it easier. It makes Cade McNamara's job easier. And you have the offensive line. They're getting pushed. That was one thing that I watched at the game, and I was there. I was trying to see which way the line was going. Was it going forward? Was it standstill? Or was it going backward? They were going forward on every play. The offensive line of University of Michigan, they're moving the D-line back. They're rushing the ball well. So Cade has a great situation. I want to see Josh Gaddis now start to put the ball in the air a little bit, though.
Well, let's just talk about it then, right there, because, look, this thing is brutal.
No.
I don't know how else to say it. No. The passing game is absolutely brutal. 7 of 15 for 44 yards, 0 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. I almost don't want to freak out just yet, but my eyes are not lying to me. This team cannot pass the football, and they can't, like, nobody. If you win, you go 12-0 running the football every week, 50 carries. You want to win the national championship that way? Fine. My lips will be sealed. There is nothing that I will ever say about Michigan football if you rush the ball 50 times for 300 yards every game and go on to win the national championship, beat Ohio State, all that good stuff. I'll never say anything, but I'll tell you this much.
Right.
It ain't going to happen. You cannot win football games like that. Yeah. You might beat Western. You might beat
struggling Washington.
Struggling Washington team. Yeah. But you will not go to Wisconsin and beat a football team in the Badgers on the road at Camp Randall, and you cannot throw the football. You cannot throw the football.
I don't want to overreact. I'm like you. I get that. We don't need to overreact because we remember in week 1, it was 9 of 11, 146. It was 2 touchdowns. You saw J.J. McCarthy come in, bomb to Dillon, 69 yards. So we know that it's there, and Western was just as good as Washington based on my eyes and what I saw. My only thing is throw the ball, get the ball down there, get the attempts, get the effort, like get that going before the Big Ten season starts so that you feel more comfortable. Like you're not going to be able, like you said, to just consistently run the ball. People will gear up on that, and we know you have the ability to throw the ball down the field.
About this. I can't.
You got to go down the field. You got to figure it out. You got to get the ball down the field. You got to get the ball into the intermediate game because when you get to the Big Ten, that just rushing the ball. This is not the conference just to run the ball without a passing game. It just doesn't work in this conference.
Let me ask you, fellas. We talked about the Lions, and poor Jared Goff really doesn't have a lot of guys to throw to. Can we say the same thing now that Ronnie Bell's out? Yeah. Can we say that maybe Michigan just knows that they have guys that can't get separation, can't get open, don't know how to get open? Or do you blame it on Cade? I mean, they see him in practice. Gaddis says, well, I see this is what this guy gives me. If that's the case, then put the kid in, like I told you, and let McCarthy run your offense.
I don't blame Cade for what I'm seeing in the first 2 games. I don't think it's him. I think some level of Josh Gaddis and Jim Harbaugh is uncomfortable with the passing game. They're uncomfortable with unleashing the passing game. I get what you're saying about Ronnie Bell going down, and that was a major loss for the offense. But at the same time, there's 122 kids on scholarship. Like, somebody got to step up. Like, I'm looking at this. Find a way to get A.J. Henning, the same kid I watched run that reverse, 79 yards in week 1, find a way to get him the ball. Blake Corum, get him the ball out the backfield. Dalen Baldwin, 69-yard touchdown in week 1 from J.J. McCarthy. Get him the ball. You got to find a way to make it work. I don't need excuses. 122 guys on scholarship at Michigan. Got to find a way to make it work.
What are you going to do when you trail, Braylon? Because Michigan is not going to have the lead every minute of every game for the rest of the season. And not only that, what are you going to do when you trail by more than 1 touchdown, by more than 1 score? What happens when you're behind double digits? If you can't throw the ball, and no offense, but these first 2 games against Washington and Western, you should be treating these like they're preseason games and working on things. And don't give me the whole, well, we don't want to show them anything. We want to show Michigan toughness. They didn't replace the one that needed to be, because this guy's play calling through 2 seasons has been atrocious. Through 1 season and 2 games has been atrocious.
We don't want to attack Michigan too much. Like, if you're out there listening,
I understand.
If you're out there listening in your car, you're watching us on YouTube and Twitter, we're not attacking Michigan, because they're doing, well, you are, I'm not. They're doing a lot of things right. Like, I remember last season. I remember 2019. I remember 2000. Like, I remember these seasons. So I'm excited about a lot that I see. The only thing that I'm saying is you have to have a balance. Like, you have to be able to pass the ball, and you usually establish and figure that out early. Like, I go back to, I know Ronnie Bell is hurt. So what? There are 7.
It's Michigan, man.
There are 7 other wide receivers on scholarship. You got to find a way, because the running is great. Like, I'm not even mad at Josh Gaddis. Like, he's 340-plus yards a game in the run. Not mad at that. But you have to find a way to complement that early before it gets too late.
Braylon, wouldn't Saturday have been a perfect opportunity to try to work some kinks out in the passing game, because Ronnie Brown is out, because they have a bunch of new guys out there, because they know Aiden Hutchinson was completely dominating
2.5, baby.
The offensive, the other side of the ball, and Washington couldn't do anything at all offensively. So you know you can maybe do a thing or two, take a chance or two, and not only that, but look, it was a huge recruiting weekend for Michigan. Can you imagine being like a wide receiver that was there on a visit?
Well, they could tell him, look, we need you because this is what we want.
I was just about to say.
You need to come here because we need to plug you in. You're going to be our next Braylon
I don't know.
I agree with Matt.
Can you imagine being a wide receiver at this recruiting visit with this game? Yeah, we don't throw the ball over here, so it's good. Come here to Michigan.
If you came to the Big House on that Saturday night on a recruiting visit, you're signing that night.
I got to take a break. Can we stay with this?
Yeah.
We'll stay with this. I got to take a break. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
Where else am I going?
Right. Well, yeah, you're going to lock you down in that chair for a minute. Armani and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network.
On the bottom line, baby.
Would you like to win a custom-built chopper while helping our veterans at the same time?
Then watch as we turn this bike into a one-of-a-kind classic chopper.
Watch the Call Sam Chopper Shop on our social media channels and get your raffle ticket today at callsam.com/chopper shop.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, it's Maz for our good friends at Legacy Partners Insurance. You know, they downloaded the Woodward Sports app, just like Neil Rule told you to do. And, of course, you'd want to download Legacy Partners Insurance into your insurance right now because they will get you what you need. Nobody wants to shop for insurance. It's not easy. You don't want to pay for it. Why do I need it? You need it because everybody needs insurance. And why not go to an independent agent that has everybody fighting for you? They're independent. They get lots of quotes. They make the carriers compete for your business. 7 in 10 carriers for personal, over 50 for your commercial accounts. They've been doing it for over 100 years, so you could trust their reputation. Call them today, 586-209-4106. Better yet, go online. It's going to be at legacypartnersins.com/Woodward Sports. Fill out the information. Let someone get in touch with you and start saving you money. You could save hundreds, maybe thousands a month, and a free call, and it's a free try, so you got nothing to lose. Make sure Legacy Partners Insurance is your insurance company. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Hey, Ryan, I want to touch on something you talked about right before the break. You too, Maz. You talked about with the wide receiver situation in terms of recruits, wide receivers wanting to go to Michigan and, perhaps whatever. If I'm a wide receiver, and I'm just analyzing Michigan, I'm just looking at it from a wide receiver standpoint and what I'm going to be able to do as a career and potentially wanting to go to the big dance, the NFL. Michigan hasn't had a 1,000-yard wide receiver since Jeremy Gallen. That was 2013, I want to say. 2000. That's 8 years. They don't throw the ball like I want to say Amari Darboh and J.U. Chesson. Like they both had like a good
group.
Like but neither one of them went over 1,000. They don't throw the ball like that. They don't have success with wide receivers. They don't have quarterbacks that are up for Big Ten first team or Big Ten second team or even consistency year by year. Like if I'm a wide receiver and I'm analyzing all that, then I look at Cade McNamara and I see 7 for 15 and 44 yards. I ain't going to Michigan.
The lack of attempts is concerning to me. The play calling is concerning to me. And you can rip me all you want. You can say, but they won. And it was a dominating performance.
But you got to be careful
by the running game.
You got to be careful with that, though. 45-10, and then
game against Washington, a game which posed no threat offensively from the other team. So you could do a couple of things. You could work on maybe a play to get somebody open. I don't know. I'm not an offensive coordinator. All I know is I look around college football. I think to myself, could this Michigan team go in and just Bo Schembechler and pound their way through Wisconsin? Yeah. Could they rush the ball 50 times against Penn State?
Hell no.
Heaven forbid. Can they just go in and dominate the Buckeyes at the line of scrimmage and rush and play 4 yards in a cloud of dust at
defense
Michigan?
Is trash.
I mean, come on, though, man. It's like... And this week against Northern Illinois is going to be no better.
Rocky Lombardi.
Oh, man. Good old Rocky with a chance to have some revenge.
They beat Georgia Tech already. Don't say nothing about Northern Illinois.
They're going to go in there and rush the ball 56 times.
The big thing for me, and I will echo some of your sentiments, is you got to get Cade McNamara going.
Get him going.
You got to get him going. This is his first year. He's a starting quarterback. We saw what he did in the limited pass attempts in week 1. We said, okay, commanded the offense. Throws were good. They were on point. Looks good. And then you come back with this performance against Washington. You got to get his mental going. You got to get him right. You got to get him in the rhythm so that he feels good. Because Cade McNamara knows, Cade McNamara can look at the stats. He's not blind. Cade McNamara knows that he didn't get a chance to get into the rhythm. He didn't get a chance to build as a passing quarterback in week 2 against Washington. You got to get him going. Get him some confidence. Start off with small throws. You're worried about Ronnie Bell being gone. Get the ball to Hassan Haskins and Blake Corum out the backfield. Get some of the short stuff going. You got to get Cade McNamara going as you get into the Big Ten season.
What are you going to, I mentioned what are you going to do when you're trailing by a touchdown, or what are you going to do when you're trailing by more than one score, by double digits? But what are you going to do on 3rd and 8? What are you going to do on 3rd and 6?
Screen.
You know what I mean? Michigan was just 7 of 16 on 3rd down against this Washington team that they dominated. And it's that, look, they're 2-0. I'm very happy they're 2-0. I'm very happy that Blake Corum, to me, looks like a player that could play on any college football team in the country.
It's not even close. He's our best player on offense.
Get him the ball, and I understand that they're getting him the ball in the air. They're getting him the ball on the ground. But I look at that, and it's very concerning to me. Michigan State guys with a dominating performance against Youngstown State. And again, first play of the game, flea flicker.
Is that great?
Flea flicker.
I was nervous about watching Blake Corum's success last week. I believe it was kind of like, remember when Michigan had Drake Johnson? Drake Johnson was an Ann Arbor Pioneer guy, running back. Remember he had a couple big games, and you're like, okay, he's good. He's going to be good for us. And this is after his ACL. And then it just disappeared. I was worried that he was going to be one of those players like last week. It's a big week against Western. He looked good, but I just wasn't sold. I was still nervous because I didn't want to buy in, and then, it was a letdown. Man, that boy can play.
Yeah.
Like Blake Corum is the real deal. He can play. He can run. He has speed. He has skills. And when he catches the ball, I watch him catch with his hands, which is tough for a running back. Doesn't let the first man tackle him, kind of similar to a Mike Hart. I'm not giving him that much credit, but the first man doesn't tackle him. Blake Corum got skills.
Michigan State, though, Braylon, 42-14 winners over Youngstown State. We just saw the first play of the game. They scored a touchdown again.
Flea flicker, baby.
This is a football team. And again, I don't go crazy because it's Youngstown State, but they did go on the road to beat Northwestern.
They did.
And
handily.
And they handily took care of their business against Washington State. It's fun because I had some fun with my Michigan State friends on Twitter after the game. I said, what does Tuck coming mean? Because everybody's doing this hashtag Tuck coming. Mel Tucker, man, look, he's got these guys playing hard. He's got them playing smart. And pretty soon, Michigan State's going to be in the upper echelon of the Big Ten once again.
Yeah, I think what Mel Tucker realizes is, hey, let's just one game at a time. Let's take it one game at a time. Let's not worry about, the end of D'Antonio's, his tenure, his reign. Let's not worry about last year. Let's not worry about, kind of when Michigan State fell off and kind of got to the bottom of the Big Ten. Like, let's just one game at a time. Let's be physical. That's something we can control. Let's hit guys in the mouth. That's something that we can control. Hey, let's make plays on offense. Hey, you're the guy, Peyton. Throw the ball. You got receivers in Reed and Mosley. Good guys. Get the ball to them. We have a run game. Let's make this as easy as we can for the Michigan State Spartans, and that's what they're doing. Like, I like what they're doing. They're a dangerous team. They feel themselves, like they feel their swag, they feel their energy. They're playing hard. They're playing physical, which has always been a Michigan State staple. They physical football team. The only thing that concerns me is just looking at the second half of the Youngstown game. They only scored one touchdown.
Yeah,
like the second half of the Youngstown State, it was 7-7 in the second half. But other than that, they're playing good football. They're playing strong physical football. And like you said, they could be a danger to the Big Ten, especially in that Eastern Division.
We sent our boy Alex Mayer. Al May did his first game in the Michigan State press box.
There we go.
How you doing, man?
Give us your experience there, Al May.
I keep telling everybody it was probably the best seat I've ever had for a game. Not just because, I was like top row, like could see the whole field, see everything develop. For instance, like I almost cheered during that first play on the flea flicker. I didn't though. I didn't ruin it on the first play. But not only that, they had air conditioning and the Wi-Fi in there was crisp. So I was able to get my tweet updates out there. I was able to post some highlights for us. It was a good experience.
Wrote a great story too on Woodward Sports. Check it out, man. The kid's a talent.
The kid, Alex Mayer, yeah, baby.
Thank you, guys.
First game covering the Michigan State Spartans, and we look forward to more games from Alex Mayer. Going to go to all the home games this year, and write for the Spartans. Woodward Sports Network, guys. There's some big games in college football. I want to go around the league and look at some of those and look at some of the big matchups as well. Want to get your thought on Notre Dame as well? A close one, nearly lost
Toledo
to the Rockets, the Fighting Rockets. Plenty more football talk, and we'll jump back into the NFL. Okay. I've got an interesting question for you. I'd like to believe it's an interesting question for you regarding tonight's Monday Night Football game. I'm going to ask that in just a couple of minutes. This is Armani and Edwards
on the Bottom Line.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame.
Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Hey guys, starting right now, get 10% off your order just by mentioning Woodward Sports. That's right, Levels in Centerline is now open. Whether you're in the store or on the app, make sure you mention Woodward Sports to get you 10% off. Everything from T Grizzlies gas to D-Max Special Strain and edibles, all on sale right now at Levels. Download the Enjoy Levels app today and start saving.
I think D-Max strain might be a little dangerous. I don't know if I want to touch D-Max strain.
That's the best I hear.
I'm not going there. Hey, guys, looking around college football, I hate to say I told you so. But I did say before we started the college football season, and just last thing, a quick deviation.
I was going to give you your credit for that, by
Alex,
the way.
can you take a shot of me? Just a one shot? Just... hey, what happened to the tinted windows here, Fish? Well, you see, because I was talking about how dark it was outside, and now it's light as day.
They're still there.
I actually want to set you up to kill this point.
Okay.
You have been very adamant that this is going to be the year in which you'll start to see like the bigger teams, the usual top 10, usual suspects, Notre Dame, Clemson, Georgia, Alabama, Oklahoma, Ohio State. You're going to see these teams fall and falter. You'll see them lose, and not even necessarily to another top 10 team or a top 25. And, man, you keep getting close. You see 2 weeks ago, Oklahoma, Tulane, this week, Toledo and Notre Dame. Ryan, you are on to something. I have to give you credit.
I just think when you look around college football, we talk about plug and play so much. Alabama is the best example of that, right? I mean, they just plug guys in and they win the national championship, or they're at least in the Final Four. Alabama's got a first-year quarterback. Ohio State has a first-year quarterback. Clemson has a first-year quarterback. Notre Dame has a first-year quarterback. You look at those four teams specifically who have really dominated over the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years in terms of playoff appearances. Clemson's already gone down. Ohio State's already gone down. Alabama's win over Miami doesn't look nearly as good as it did in week one because Miami just barely beat Appalachian State. They stink. They look terrible. Florida State has gone down to Deion Sanders and Jacksonville State. You think they might want to look at Deion Sanders as a head coach?
But the one thing
but Notre Dame.
But the one thing you see is all those programs you talked about where you're plugging in players, especially at the quarterback position. Cone, back-to-back 300-plus yard games. You look at Rattler, 300-yard games. You look at C.J. Stroud, 400, almost 500 yards passing. They're getting the ball down the field like the plug and play. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. I think what's going on is the defense of all those teams that you're watching. You're watching those defense. I think teams are playing against them now, and teams aren't scared.
Yeah.
Like, teams are hitting these guys in the mouth. Like, teams are running the ball on them. Teams are passing on they're scoring touchdowns, and they're answering the bell back and forth. Let's say like Oklahoma scores, Tulane scores right back. Like, that's what you're seeing. I think the defense is the thing that's lacking of these top 10 teams, and that's what's making them vulnerable. Is you're not seeing the defenses from the last 4 or 5 years more. Like Clemson's defense 3 years ago, oh my God. Alabama, oh my God. LSU, oh my God. You're not seeing that now. Like Georgia and Alabama are the only two teams who I think their defenses are ready.
Toledo, I thought, was going to win that game. I mean, they had the lead with a minute to go against Notre Dame, and then it was just, it happened quickly. It was like before you could start celebrating and get your tweets out, holy Toledo. How many people started tweeting that out, and before you knew it, before you could press the send button, Notre Dame had the lead once again.
I was just ready to text Brady and say, welcome to the club of D1 programs that lost to Toledo. I was ready, but Notre Dame, they found a way.
There's no App State, though.
But you know what, though? That's what the good programs do. That's what the good programs do, the way they're coached. Because remember in 2002, remember Ohio State? almost losing to Cincinnati. Like Alabama had a scare a couple years ago when Mark Ingram won the Heisman. They almost lost to Louisiana Lafayette or Louisiana Monroe. Like that, but that happens. It's football. Like, you know, teams they're better now. They're getting better recruits, they're better players. You'll see close things like this. But what is the final score? What happens in the end? That's where you'll see the better coaches and programs separate themselves from the rest of the pack.
Ohio State goes down at home to Oregon. Oregon looked really good.
One of the that running back Verdell.
Well, one of the things that really struck out to me watching this game, Braylon,
Penei's brother.
Yeah, was how physical. Like Oregon completely out-physicaled Ohio State, which is something I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, I think, you know, you're watching that game and you're used to seeing Ohio State be the bully, bully. You're used to seeing like the D-line get to the quarterback. You're seeing the offensive line, Taylor Decker, Detroit's own, like a guy like that, push the pile. They're moving the pile. You didn't see that, and I think the Pac-12, especially Oregon, they're just tired of the same old rhetoric and who they are. When we look at the Pac-12, what do we say? Oh, yeah, they can pass the ball, but we're not worried about their defense. We're not worried about their physicality. Like, we're just not. Like, that's not who they are. Man, they look physical. The running back was running guys over. Verdell.
Falling forward, Braylon.
Exactly.
Falling forward.
The receivers were going up and getting balls, making plays like Mawson and like – I was just watching it. Even a play where, remember 88 in the end zone, he threw that pass and he thought he had an easy touchdown, and you see 11 knock the ball out of his hand. Like, Old State just looked different. Like, offense played well. But they just didn't look like that Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, Ezekiel Elliott. Like, they didn't look like that team that when you turn it on, you're like, oh, yeah, that's Ohio State. They didn't look like that.
They didn't look unbeatable. They didn't look invincible. They looked
obviously because they lost.
Yeah, and they looked like a team that was on the ropes, and they could be on the ropes this year. I don't think Ohio State's done losing this year. I don't think Clemson's done losing this year. I don't think there's going to be a team that goes through college football unbeaten. I don't. Maybe
Alabama's going to go unbeaten.
But everybody else, I think that thing is up for grabs.
You know one thing, Maz, I want to bring you in this. I want to ask you this. Did we give Ryan Day much too much credit too early? Because let's keep this in mind. Urban Meyer is arguably the best college football coach of all time. We know it's Nick Saban. We know it's the Bear. Right. But outside of those two, strong argument for him to be an easy third, correct?
No doubt.
Replacing him is tough. So you still had a lot of his players. You still had a lot of his system in play. Now it's starting to get to Ryan Day's team, his identity, who he is. Did we give him too much credit too early?
I don't think so. I think he'll bounce back. I truly do. They lost to a team that was ready for him. It was at home. That's a bad loss for them, no matter what way you look at it. They just they weren't ready for that game. He'll get them ready, and I don't think they lose for the rest of the year. I just don't. They have too much talent. I know they struggled the first week as well until they got it going against Minnesota. And you know what? They had a chance against the Ducks as well. They just could not close that game. I think Ryan Day is going to be just fine going forward.
What I would be eager to keep in mind on, Ryan, watching Ohio State for the rest of the season, I would be eager to watch the offense and the defense dynamic, because you could tell the offense is putting points on the board. Like CJ Stroud had 500 yards passing almost. Like, they're doing it. They did it in week 1 as well. I want to watch that dynamic. Where does the breakdown happen if it stays consistent to when the offense starts to look the defense like, dang, can y'all stop somebody? Like, I'm watching that dynamic, because that's a real thing. When you score points, I've been on teams where we've scored a ton of points and the defense was lacking. I've been on teams where the offense was trash and the defense, and it happens like that. They're like, hey, man, are y'all going to score a point? Are y'all going to score today? Are y'all going to do something? Or are you guys going to get a stop and help us out? So I'll be keeping my eye on that.
There's 5 Big Ten teams in the top 25 now.
Yeah.
Iowa may be the best of them. We don't know. I doubt it.
Told you.
I doubt it. As the year goes on, I hope Ohio State and Iowa play this year. I'm not positive if they do.
They do not.
That's too bad.
And I'll tell you, Michigan lucks out too, because Michigan does not play Iowa either. Neither Michigan nor Ohio State play the Iowa Hawkeyes this year, Maz. Michigan does jump into the number 25 spot in the AP poll after 2 weeks, so that is good for the Michigan Wolverines. You mentioned, though, Maz, that Ohio State, you don't see them losing this year.
I don't.
I disagree with you. I think they're going to get clipped at Michigan. I do. I think this is the year that Michigan wins the Ohio State game.
Why?
Yeah, 7-15, 44 is not going to get it done. I promise you that.
Yeah, no.
Because here's the thing. You just asked a question. I'm going to throw it back to you. What did you just say? What is Michigan going to do when they're down and they're trailing? The thing that kept them alive against Oregon is their defense was trash. But guess what they could do? They could answer the bell. Here's a touchdown. We'll get back in the game. Here's another touchdown. Here's a big drive and a field goal. They can put points on the board. That's what scares me about Ohio State. And I know it's early. It's a long time till we get there. But that's what scares me. If I got 9 of 11 for 148 and then 7 of 15 for 148, like if I got, or 44, excuse me, like that's what I'm going up against. 180 rushing, 500 yards passing.
I think Michigan's defense is significantly improved this year.
I agree.
I think Michigan's defense has the best defensive player in the conference in Aiden Hutchinson.
Aiden Hutchinson is, to me, as I watch, Aiden Hutchinson is the best D lineman for the University of Michigan since Brandon Graham.
Yeah.
He's the best D lineman since Brandon Graham. Because I never was a huge Rashawn Gary fan. I thought Mo Hurst was really good. I thought Mo was better than Rashawn Gary. But Aiden Hutchinson's special.
Yeah.
Like he's like Brandon Gary. He's special.
Aiden Hutchinson has affected the game more in 2 games this season than Rashawn Gary did an entire career at Michigan. I don't ever remember Rashawn Gary completely dominating a game at Michigan. I don't remember it. If there is, maybe I'm wrong.
Me and my dad used to always talk about this as it relates to Rashawn Gary. Is they always talk about him. They always hype him up. You will see Rashawn Gary maybe make a play or two in the first half. You would never hear Rashawn Gary's name in the third or fourth quarter because I think he never was in shape like he should have been. I think he, number 1 player overall. I think he let that go to his head a little bit. Aiden is the complete opposite. I hear Aiden's name in the first, second, third, and fourth quarter. Aiden is there. Aiden is creating the energy, the spark, but not only is he getting guys excited, he's knocking guys out. Yeah. Love Aiden Hutchinson.
We showed a 5-minute montage of him before, a 50-second montage of I might add. But I wanted to say, if Michigan State beats Miami this week, do they pop into the top 25?
Yes, they're 27-28 right now, I think.
So that's 6 in the top 10. That's in the top 25. That's pretty good.
If they beat Miami, I guarantee they sneak to 21.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, I don't think Miami's very good this year at all.
Still.
They just, no.
Still,
I mean,
they're a legacy program.
You got to go there and win the game. That's absolutely right. All right, guys, I got to take a break. When we come back, got a question regarding Monday Night Football. Tonight.
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
And the Ravens. Is anybody healthy for the Ravens? Jesus Christ.
Lamar Jackson is.
That's all that matters.
Regarding Monday Night Football, Armani and Edwards.
On the bottom line, Woodward Sports. Let's do it.
Opa! Introducing Papa Romano's new Greek pizza, a tasty blend of bold Greek flavors and Mediterranean toppings, including feta cheese and Greek dressing. Get a large Greek pizza for a limited time for $16.99. Order now at paparomanos.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, it's Mass for BetQL. Want to get an advantage on your sportsbook? Of course, that's a dumb question. You need to download BetQL right now, the only app you'll need to make smart bets. BetQL's best bet computer model scans 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best recommendation, and they tell you why you should put that bet in. Their platform's got all the data and analytics you'd ever need for your own betting research. So head to the App Store or Google Play Store right now. Download BetQL and get started. Enter discount code WSN at checkout for 25% off of any of their subscription offerings. BetQL. Go get it right now.
Monday Night Football tonight. It's the Ravens and the Raiders. I mean, how great is it to say Raiders? I mean, it's just one of the fun names.
Thanks to Chris Berman
in all of football. Thanks to Chris. Thank you, Boomer.
Yep.
We appreciate it.
The best.
The crazy thing about this first week in the NFL, it seems like it's been going forever. forever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, Jesus, there's another game
Thursday,
tonight?
so it's
Thursday.
5 days, yeah.
Yeah, like, we've been going since Thursday, man. Like, it's like, man, finally it's over.
So good. Guys, I want to ask you a question, and it's away from the football field, actually, regarding this Monday Night Football game. So you've got the traditional Monday night broadcast tonight with Steve Levy, Brian Griese, and Louis Riddick.
Yep.
And then you've got this alternate broadcast with Peyton Manning and Eli Manning.
That's what I'm watching.
And that's really what I was going to ask you guys, because I do love Steve Levy, Brian Griese, and Louis Riddick. I think they're a really good team. It's just so happens that I think Peyton and Eli are way more intriguing to call this game. And I'm almost embarrassed for Steve Levy and the gang, because what happens if Peyton and Eli have more viewership than the traditional broadcast?
So the interesting thing about that,
I think there's a real concern there.
The interesting thing about that is we never knew Peyton was that good until he started opening up. He started doing Saturday Night Live. He started doing all the commercials. And you're like, yo, Peyton's actually great. He's good at what he does. Eli, by himself, nah. Until you realize Eli is funny, and everybody in the Manning family will tell you Eli plays pranks. He does a lot of funny stuff. You put them two together, dog, that's gonna be fun. I like Eli and Peyton together. It's gonna be great.
I do too, and I almost would be upset if I was Steve Levy in that crew.
He's
that
got
tradition.
no choice.
But you're really putting them in a bad position, public relations wise, if Peyton and Eli just continue to steamroll. Maybe tonight
they're going to knock it out the park.
Because they are going to knock it out of the park, Braylon. They are.
Yeah.
But maybe tonight they're not going to get as many viewers as the traditional broadcast is, because so many people are used to being in habits. I mean, even us. Look at us. So many people are used to listening to the radio, getting in your car and hitting that button on your radio dial. You know what I mean? But, you got to go the extra step. You'll have to go the extra step to find Eli and Peyton tonight.
But it's Peyton Manning, who has 2 Super Bowl wins and is arguably the best quarterback of all time. It's Eli Manning, who's also a Hall of Famer.
Kryptonite.
He's Brady's kryptonite. 2 Super Bowl wins, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. People will find a way to get there. Like, Peyton's name garners like the respect and the attention, and let me come follow you, and you mix his brother in there, man, I'm telling you, they're going to find a way to Eli and Peyton.
Maz, what week will Peyton and Eli have more viewership?
This week. Tonight.
I think the next game, because tonight a lot of people are going to forget.
Yeah.
Until it gets going and gets viral, once it hits Twitter, everyone's going over there. Matter of fact, there probably will be tonight.
I'm telling you, it's tonight.
Not till like the second quarter when people are like, oh yeah, there's another. I forgot about that. But listen,
it's a good point.
They've been shopping for Monday Night Football announcers right in front of Steve Levy and Brian Griese and Lou Riddick. They've been saying, oh, if we can get Peyton to come here, if we can get this guy. So it's not going to really affect what they're doing. They're going to do their game. They're boring. Out of all of them, I like Brian Griese the best of all of them, to be perfectly honest. Steve Levy is more hockey guy to me, more studio guy to me.
Good call.
I like him.
Good call,
He's
man.
a likable guy because he's been with ESPN forever. He's part of my family. So I give him the benefit. But I'm not tuning in to listen to Steve Levy.
I actually talked to Louis Riddick last year. My father and I talked to him about some business off the field. And because we were kind of trying to figure out, like, why wouldn't he go for, like, the GM jobs? I think a couple people
wants him.
A couple people have presented him an offer. Like, I know Sheila Ford Hampton came to him. Like, a couple ideas have presented to him, just not the right situation. But he also told us is they like him best at ESPN on Monday Night Football. Like, they're going to get rid of Griese and
Levy.
They're going to get rid of them at some point. The show is going to be built around Louis Riddick. Like, the show is going to be around Louis Riddick. So maybe Louis and Peyton, maybe figure it out. But
it's going to be it's going to be a play-by-play guy that gets that game.
Louis Riddick is really good at what he does. I love Louis Riddick. I generally don't like 3-man booths.
Yeah, Louis Riddick is amazing. He reminds me.
You didn't like the old Monday Night Football?
Yeah, but you're talking about Al Michaels and Frank Gifford and Dan Dierdorf.
I'm talking Cosell and
that was a little bit too old for me.
I'm 38. Get out of here. Like, what I would say though is, like, Louis Riddick, he's sharp like Jay Billis to me. Like how Jay Billis is with basketball, like college basketball. Like that's how sharp Louis Riddick is to me. With
If
NFL.
Riddick would have been paired with my man Joe Tess, they'd still be together today.
You love Tess.
I
You
do.
love Tess.
You're high on
He
Tess.
had no chance. No chance.
Like Rich Rodriguez.
No chance.
You got no chance. That's what you got.
No chance.
Tonight's
I'm Vince McMahon.
Tonight's the night for your music, isn't it? Aren't you going to get hyped for your music tonight?
Hey man, relax.
You got
Chill out
Drake
over
tonight.
there,
Got Drake
like
tonight.
it's gonna come on very smooth right
Okay.
now. I promise you, they're gonna play the right songs, and you're gonna come talk to me. Or
I hope
actually,
so. I
We're,
hope I like
we're
it.
in group text. I guarantee you,
I
at some
hope
point
I
in the
like
game, like Maz is gonna text the group
So
and
there
say, "Hey
is-
man, this Drake guy is killing it."
So there is no situation tonight where he said, dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
That doesn't happen anymore.
I don't know.
Dun, 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 dun,
I think you'll hear that.
Because
I do.
They were not very forthcoming and open about everything that they had planned for Drake. They just said that Drake's music would be featured on Monday Night Football. That doesn't even necessarily mean that he has the open.
Right.
So I think we all just need to tune in and kind of like see how it plays out. I don't know what the heck is going on. It's just his music will be featured at some point on Monday Night Football.
Matt is going to be sitting there in
gonna
the
be pissed.
chair. He's going to be sitting there in the lounge chair. He's going to have his feet kicked up. He's going to say,
He's gonna
"Hey,
see
Kathy,
Drake and
let's
turn it
watch
off."
Eli. Let's watch Peyton and Eli tonight." Now, what are you going to watch? You going to watch Peyton and Eli?
I'm going to flip.
Yeah.
Because I like a regular broadcast.
Yeah, me too.
So what
That's
are
why I
Peyton,
don't like Red Zone.
what
I
are
like
Peyton
the
and-
whole
Yeah,
game.
me
what
too.
are Peyton and Eli on, by the way?
ESPN
Deuce
2.
and Plus.
Okay, so they're doing okay.
Deuce
okay.
and Plus.
I love Peyton's Places.
He's so
Peyton's,
good,
the
man.
Peyton
I mean,
Places
he's
stuff
just-
they do on ESPN. We go. I love those.
He's very entertaining, and we absolutely.
And we love it.
Hey, as long as they give me Boomer's fastest 3 minutes, I'm good at
Yeah.
halftime. That's all I'm asking for.
Do you guys like Booger?
I love Booger.
I love
him. I liked him on the broadcast.
Why didn't he get a chance? I mean,
He's a studio guy.
yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
like
it.
Booger. I don't like him in that thing on the sideline that
No,
was
no,
just
no.
ridiculous.
They took him out of that.
No, but I was gonna say I didn't like that, and I also didn't like him. In the studio, like in the booth, like I didn't like that. I like when Booger's behind the desk. Like I remember when he was calling the CBS and he was doing the SEC. Like that's where Booger is in his element, his zone. He's so good at breaking down teams and game and film and giving experience as well as a former player.
I enjoy him.
That's his niche and his lane. I don't like the color. I don't like the color play-by-play for him.
You know what would be I think the best play-by-play booth today? Like, as the top of my head, the best play-by-play Monday night booth would be right now, Fowler and Herb Street.
Oh, I
Fowler
love
and
those
Herb
guys.
Street did a Monday night
I
game
love
last
those
year
guys.
on the doubleheader.
Yep.
They did doubleheader Monday
Yeah, I
night
remember.
football. It was better than the guys they have now.
Give
They're
me those guys.
so good.
I'll take them.
on the NFL.
Their chemistry is second to none, and I've always liked Chris Fowler. I've always liked Kirk Herbstreit. Like I remember winning the Biletnikoff. Not trying to throw that out there. Not trying to throw that out
Do
there.
you even know who Fred Biletnikoff is?
Oh man, he created the sticky
There you go.
stuff though. Number
There
2.
you
Yeah,
go.
come on,
Number
Florida,
25.
Florida State.
That's it.
Went to Florida State. Raiders
making sure,
2-5.
man.
Look at this guy. Hey,
But you
Braylon,
see how I got him? I didn't even have to look
guy.
at him, and I got it.
What's he trying to do to you?
Yo, so funny story is when I
An
won.
old man up.
When you win the award at the ESPN Awards, like the college awards, they do that. You see it on TV, you win it. But then you actually go to a dinner wherever that award is from. So, Biletnikoff, Florida State. So I went down there to Florida State. Guess who was the keynote speaker? Wide receiver from the Seattle Seahawks. Steve Largent.
Really?
Nice.
Steve Largent, man. And Fred Biletnikoff was there. I was like, man, this is like two greats, and it was amazing. It was a great
Hall
time.
of Famer.
Yeah.
Can't get Braylon.
Two Hall of Famers.
Can't get Braylon on that, Maz. I don't know what you were trying to do.
Two Hall of Famers.
You don't have to keep pushing on it, though.
That's why, and it was.
You can let it die. You want to put me back in that little kitty chair again?
Hey, Maz, you see I didn't mess with you. I didn't mess
know,
with you.
man.
I like it's this guy.
Hey,
It's this guy.
we're brothers. I can do that to you.
It's
I don't
this
care.
guy.
I don't care.
Oh, just trying to stir.
Hey, before you go to break, how about your boy Taylor Lewan? I get you the freaking cut. Don't you want to freaking throw
Taylor
to it?
Lewan. Let's look at it right now. I was going to go to it next, but since you called for it now, let's do it.
He called you out.
Taylor Lewan
out too.
Look at this. Look at this tweet from Taylor Lewan. Got my ass kicked today. No way around that. I let the team and the fans down. Thank you to Chandler Jones for exposing me. It will only force me to get better. Love the accountability. Love it. Need more of it in professional sports.
Cardinals absolutely clowned them.
You know what? I don't know where I lie on that, and this is why. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys guide me and talk to me. If you had a bad game, which apparently he did, actually I watched, he did. We all saw that you had a bad game. We know you had a bad game. Like, I don't need you to say it on Twitter. Like, I think a lot of times people put too much out there on social media. Like, it's almost like, hey, look at me. I'm going to say I had a bad game, and I want you to see that I'm taking accountability and blah, blah, blah. Just go out there and play.
I've got an answer for you.
Just go out there and play. It's like when people break up with your girlfriend. It's almost like if you break up with your girlfriend, you got to put it on Twitter as a breakup.
It's very true.
Just go play ball.
Here's how I'd say that, Braylon. And I don't know. I'm not some crazy arduent follower of Taylor Lewan. But if he is out there on Twitter regularly, I think it's okay. If he's not out there on Twitter and he's not really sharing all this stuff, then I wouldn't just go offer that up.
You're 100% correct.
Videos of the day, good ones next.
Really good.
Really good. Stick around good. 30 seconds from now.
Reminding that was
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
You know why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 5-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
Here's Cooper, 4-man rush for Florida State, going to cut it loose. Phil Johnson caught it inside the 10. Phil Johnson on his feet, he'll cut back, and Jacksonville State has won at the Horn. On the final play of the game, Zarek Cooper throws.
So there you go. Jacksonville State goes on the road at Florida State and beats the Seminoles, which again goes back. Notre Dame's win at Florida State doesn't look all that impressive now, does it?
Jacksonville State is a school?
Jacksonville State is a school.
Where the hell is that at?
In Jacksonville, in the state of Florida. But I will tell you that
it actually is in Alabama.
Exactly. Alabama.
I knew it. See, you messed up.
Alabama. Now, don't you think that Florida State wishes they would have gone to Jackson State and gotten Deion Sanders as their head coach? No offense to Mike Norville or whatever.
Oh man, like it's looking that way. You see, especially what he's doing and be able to be out there. He's a personality. A lot of kids want to play for him, so that would have been a good move if it was on the table.
I think he wanted it.
Watching Florida State, man. Like if we look at last week against Notre Dame, like they were close. They played a good game. They stayed in it. They were there, but Florida State's quarterback was terrible last week. Like they didn't look good at the quarterback position. Now, Mackenzie Milton came in. He has a great story, but he was 7 of 6 for 54 yards. Like they didn't look good at the quarterback position, and I knew they would be vulnerable. I just were hoping they could use a game like this as a tune-up to figure it out, and they didn't.
Video, by the way, it became a meme on Twitter. I want you just to go ahead. Fast forward to the end of that, there, Alex. Watch the cheerleading team at the end of this video.
Oh,
Watch
yeah,
it.
that's
Watch
great.
them walk away. Ooh,
The guy. She kind of laughs at the end and yeah, I don't know.
Wrong place at the wrong time.
But they tried to plant the flag at the Florida State 50.
And the sheriffs came on out and said, "Get on out of here, little
Not
doggies."
today.
Not today, not here in Tallahassee.
Not today, boys.
Today.
The hell with the 50-yard line. They got that W.
They ate that W.
They got that
eat it up.
W.
Lather up, Jameis.
Florida, that's a tough loss, man.
Bad loss.
That's like an Appalachian
That
State,
is like an
Michigan loss.
Appalachian
That's
State.
a bad one, man. You can't recover from those, man.
No, you can't. Not as a program, for sure. It's going to take some time. Florida State, not good. Maz, videos of the day.
Hey, we were talking about Monday Night Football. I remember this one like it was yesterday.
Me too, actually.
This kid was a daredevil. 1995, it's the Bears.
The
At Soldier Field. Check this fan out, jumping from the stands just to catch an extra point. He's falling probably 10 to 12 feet. Check this out.
Sheesh.
You're going to see something off the field that's a classic here.
Follow the ball as it goes up the tunnel from the right side of your screen. Watch this fella jump out of the stands into the tunnel. He appears to be at least 10 feet off the ground, if not more.
Here he comes.
Don't try this.
No, don't try this. Watch this. There he goes, off into space.
Oh, look at him go. He got it.
He catches the ball.
Lands perfectly.
Goes all the way down the
He
tunnel.
got it in towards ACL.
I would have thought he would have broken both his ankles. There he is.
They let him back in with
he
the ball.
He's got the ponytail. Look at
Now
him.
we got the guy. What's your name?
Love the
Michael
90s.
Bantazis. I'm from the north side of
Look at him.
Chicago. I played football
Chicago.
at Solid High School.
Well, Mike, you could have gotten yourself
Chicago.
hurt jumping down like that.
I played defense, offense. I got great hands. I played football my whole life. I love it, baby.
You got a little Monday Night Football history, too.
Oh, yes.
Let's go back to the game now.
How cool is that?
That was the best interview I've ever heard in my
don't
life.
think I've
I
ever
played defense,
seen that
offense. I got
interview.
great hands.
I don't think I've ever seen that interview.
That was great.
That's what we bring for you on videos
I've
of the day.
seen the play, but I've never seen the video.
I love the fact that it's one of the greatest wide receivers of all time, and Lynn Swann interviewing a guy that just made one of the best catches as
That's
a
what I'm
fan
gonna do.
ever.
Remember the great sideline reporters, Lynn Swann,
O.J. Simpson,
Jackaroot,
The Juice.
O.J. Simpson. They're great sideline reporters, man.
Mike Adamle.
Oh, Mike Adamle. Absolutely. What else you got for us, man?
Let's take it to 1985 now. We're going back in time a little bit before we go forward again. The great hit king himself, Charlie Hustle. Pete Rose, it was his night for 41-92.
They got to put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
BS.
Kicks and he fires. Rose
Get over yourself, MLB.
Man.
It's incredible.
I love Pete Rose.
Yeah.
I love that he loves WWE.
Good old Marge Schott. Forgot she owned the team.
Remember Shotzi used to take a crap on the field during a pregame?
The dog?
The dog?
So great. Unbelievable.
Isn't that something? Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame, and I put it out on Twitter the other day.
Never
Hey,
will be.
enough, guys.
How'd that get received?
It didn't get received well. He gambled. Okay, we know that. We know he's
bet on his team.
We know he could be prickly. We understand that. Prickly Pete. That's his nickname. I just named him. Anyway, we all gamble now. Everyone gambles. The
Not all of
commissioners
us.
gamble. The commissioners of sports gamble.
He bet
Pete
on
Rozelle
the
gambled.
Reds.
I'm retired.
They all gambled.
He bet on the Reds.
Put him in the Hall of Fame for crying out loud.
I agree, though.
I'm retired.
Enough.
At the end of the day, you've punished him long enough. Like, he's one of the mainstays and one of the main stables. He's one of the best players of all time and arguably
Period.
top 5 hitter of all time. And just getting
The best hitter.
Like, exactly. Like, argue, you know what I'm saying? Like, put the guy, like, he's done his penance. Like, put him in before he dies. Like, it will do well for the MLB. It will do well for baseball. It will do well for him. Like, it's a feel-good story. Like, you've punished him enough. And I'm not saying, like, you know, he made him, he effed up.
Put all the cheaters in now.
And while you're at it, throw Barry Bonds
That's
in
what I
there,
said.
too.
And Roger Clemens. Put the cheaters in. Let's go.
You're going to put Mark McGuire in there.
No,
Then you might as well put them all in there.
Sosa
No,
in.
Mark's in.
Put them all in.
No, Mark's in. Mark got smart. Like, Mark retired. Remember after that home run season where he broke the record?
He's like, I'm out.
The Cardinals tried to give him that $25 million. He's
Rafael Palmeiro still says he didn't do it.
Give me one more here, Maz. Big
Hey,
one.
I take it to last night. It's the Subway Series. I know no one here in Detroit. They all hate the Yankees.
85.
They all
Mets,
hate
Yankees.
the Mets.
85 or
Listen to me.
86?
86 is the Mets. By the way, 2-part series this week. ESPN 30 for 30 on the 86 Mets. You might want to DVR that one. That was a hell of a team. Last night, Yankees and the Mets from Shea.
It's called like What a Time in New York or something like
I know. From Citi Field. The night before that was 9/11. The seventh inning stretch was amazing. God bless America. I mean, let's face it, 9/11, it's about New York more than it is about anything else in the country here. The Yankees and Mets playing on 9/11 was amazing. I turned off the Michigan game to watch the end of that Mets-Yankees game. Last night was amazing. Mets up. They had 2 home runs already from Francisco Lindor. Mets are up 2 runs. Giancarlo Stanton gets up in the 7th inning. What are you guys laughing at me for?
No.
Giancarlo Stanton.
No. I was showing Ryan the picture. You were talking about 9/11, and I was showing Ryan the picture from Michigan Field with the flag on it. That's
beautiful.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Okay, brother. Here's Giancarlo Stanton last night. That's okay. Here he is. Check this out. He's going to tie the game here late.
Turn him like that.
Into deep left center field, and this game is tied. Santa Maria. And look at Stanton taking his sweet time. Oh, he got some chippiness. He's talking to Lindor. Oh, now it's on. Everybody's out on the field. Stanton answering back to Lindor. Umpires and coaches are doing their best.
So Stanton stops between 2nd and 3rd. He gives Lindor the business. Lindor gets up in the 8th inning and hits his 3rd freaking home run of the game. Check this out.
Love it.
Jesus
Listen
Christ.
to this.
Lindor's not the one to mess with. Lindor's not the one to mess with.
In that regard.
Listen to the great call here by Matty V.
Did he get another one? Oh! Gallo's on his way back. He got it!
Ooh.
Maria! Lindor again!
Look at Stanton. I should keep my mouth quiet.
Lindor!
Hey, Stanton didn't say anything. Stanton was telling him, stop talking crap to us, because they were saying the Yankees were stealing their signs.
Right.
That was the whole thing. Anyway, great baseball. We're coming down the stretch. Toronto, by the way, the Blue Jays scored 22 runs yesterday. They outscored half the NFL.
Unbelievable. Can you believe it? The freaking Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays.
Yankees.
They outscored Green Bay.
Yankees in action actually today.
They're getting killed again.
Getting killed. What's going on with the Yanks,
They're
man?
folding it up.
Whew. Losing 5-1 to Minnesota. Maz, Braylon, this has been an enjoyable experience today.
It was a good one. I think we came out hot after the weekend that we had with Michigan State, the Detroit Lions. We got a lot going on, NCAA. We got a lot going on. Monday Night Football.
We'll continue to tell ourselves how great we are after this broadcast concludes. I've got no problem.
We can say right now, hey, man, you're darn good, buddy.
Maz, good effort out of you today. Alex, Fish, you guys are okay,
Let's
too.
do it again.
We'll do it again tomorrow.
I can do that again.
Braylon freaking Edwards, everybody.
We'll see ya.
Tomorrow night.
The Raiders.
Woodward Sports.
The bottom line.
How did the defense in the running game give overall shape to the way this played out, Jameis?
Well, I just think we were prepared. One thing my trainer, he told me, he said, what did he say? He just told us to be prepared.